Give it a second. It's loading.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
And we are live.
Great. Thank you very much. Good evening and welcome to the Planning Board February work session, where we will be going over the agenda for tomorrow's Planning Board meeting. I'm just going to ask if we could just scroll, I guess, up or down for the agenda pop up. Okay. Okay, great, thank you. So in regards to the December 4th and January 8th minutes, where are we with the minutes?
Okay, the December 4th minutes were sent out, and I just have to finish up the January minutes for tomorrow.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Let's see. We have a continuation. Okay, we'll start with the first one. Okay, this is a concept plan presentation, 318 South 8th Avenue. Either Will or Lucas, if you can kind of walk us through this one.
Sure. So this is Greater Centennial Church. They a few years back they tried building like a community type facility building, that would have like a gym or activity space for their church members. That project was partially built, and then it was they ceased construction, and then they unfortunately had to remove what they had built. So now they're coming back with another plan for like a prefabricated building, like a Butler style building, and that's what they wanted to present to you tomorrow. They have to go before the planning board, the zoning board, and the ARB for this one. So it's a lot of boards. So for this particular application, we were thinking that maybe they could come and do the concept plan presentation for the planning board first, and then you could consider if you wanted to be the lead agency for this application. And then it would go to the zoning board next. They're going to need a couple of variances from the zoning board of appeals, and then the ARB, of course.
Right. How many variances, if you are familiar with it, would they need?
So we're still waiting for that from the plan examiner. It's a little messy because the church owns several parcels, and the proposed building would kind of go across the lines between the parcels. So they needed to submit another set of plans that kind of showed all the parcels consolidated, and then the plan examiner needed to finalize that analysis. We know it's at least 3 or 4 variances. It has to do mostly with lot coverage, things like that, distance to a side property line, those types of things. But the plan examiner will have the final analysis. Should be shortly. I'm expecting it any day now.
Okay.
Can,
right, great.
can you share what parcel means?
Oh, parcel. Oh, right. So the church owns several contiguous tax parcels, properties. So ideally they would kind of combine all the lots together into one property. Whether they do that as part of this application or not remains to be seen, but they need to, at least from a zoning analysis standpoint, consolidate the lots for the plan examiner to review the area lot and bulk controls, for the site.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I think we'll listen to the presentation, but leaning towards having zoning take lead agency on this.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. Let's see, the proposed 2025 planning board meeting schedule that was distributed. Is it possible to put that up here if everyone hasn't seen it?
Well, let me see if it's in the meetings folder. Hang on. Yeah,
If not, if not, we can go over it tomorrow. I think the only like big thing on there was the fact that just like last summer, we had determined that we weren't going to have an August meeting. Okay.
okay, yeah, and we front loaded the administrative items first, just because, that concept presentation should hopefully be pretty quick, so.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. We have a continuation of the 165 Summit Avenue. That was where there's an existing 4-family, and then they wanted to build 3 additional 2-family homes on the property. We had asked for some additional, well, we made some comments in regards to scaling down the project, things of that nature. And where do we stand with the submission in terms of, I saw additional parking. I didn't see any reduction in the number of houses, unless I missed something.
No, the project is, other than them adding 2 parking spaces to each of the proposed, like, 2-family dwelling lots, is otherwise the same. They're sticking with their, existing stance that, the property is as of right, and therefore, yeah. So,
Right. Okay.
Yep.
And council so eloquently mentioned that in regards to as of right just means that you don't need variances, does not mean that the planning board has to accept their argument that it's built as of right if we do not feel that it's going to fit in with the neighborhood in terms of the bulk and scale and the parking and all of the things that fall under the planning's purview. So we'll go into that tomorrow. But I was hoping that they were going to come back with something in terms of scaling it down. The neighbors in the immediate area, seem somewhat open to some type of development there, but something on a smaller scale. So I guess we'll just listen to what the applicant has to say, and the residents tomorrow when they hear that it's still the same thing being proposed. Commissioners, I'm sorry. Yes.
I'm sorry. May I ask if the commissioners, if you would receive the map that I sent around? Commissioner Rouse asked me to send you that map about density.
Yes, I received it.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, just making sure you got it.
Yep.
If you look carefully at where the site is for 165 Summit, you'll see that it's not 1-family houses surrounding this site.
No. We're aware that there are multifamilies in the area. It was I think the concern was the amount of what was being proposed. So yes, so we're aware that there are multifamilies in the area, but there are also single-family homes in the area as well. And I think that a lot of the concern was the density in terms of what would be there with 3 2-family homes with 3 over 3. And then we were looking at what the room count was and technically how many people would be able to, reside, there. And I think that number was, at least on my end, I found that to be very, very, high. And I thought that it would exacerbate, the parking in the area, and stressing infrastructure, things of that nature. But again, we'll listen to what they have to say. Commissioners, please, let me know whether or not, the concerns are still there on your part in regards to the size, or we can just really kind of go over that tomorrow. But I know that I have a concern in regards to the.
Well, so that was my concerns as well. And to your point, that hasn't been addressed. So we will listen to the applicant tomorrow and, have a discussion.
Right. Okay.
Can I
Mr.
just, interject for a second?
Please, I would like for everyone to, to kind of weigh in.
So the way that it's being presented again, he's not scaling down the project. I mean, he added more parking spaces, I believe, to alleviate the question about parking. So, but the point I'm looking at is if, again, we keep talking about as of right, what is our legal standing on that? What requires, what is a subdivision? What is the lot size? I mean, I just don't see where we can tell him, no, you can't.
Well,
do
it's
it.
yeah. I mean, and I'm just going to ask for council to kind of weigh in terms of what that means. That just means that the variances aren't needed.
So does the zoning kind of dictate what is allowed or not allowed to be done?
Well, certain things that fall within our purview.
Well, what about this church project that we just talked about before, right? They need a bunch of zoning.
They need certain variances there, right?
Right.
But again, that's something that we have to look at to see,
But if they don't get them, then they can't build. No matter what we say.
that's accurate. That is accurate.
So I'm just playing devil's advocate here, because what if they challenge us?
Well, I mean, again, if depending upon, again, we're listening to the application, no decision has been made, one way or another. Just some of the concerns that are reflected in the minutes is density and the size and everything that comes with that. So, just because you may be able to build something as of right without having to have a variance does not mean that it has to be built if we felt that it was not appropriate based upon things that fall within the planning board's purview. So that's kind of where we stand, and I'm just going to ask council just to kind of weigh in there, please.
Well, you were correct that it was mentioned that the city has 3 land use boards, and they have cleared the zoning board of appeals because no variances are required as far as dimensionally. They meet the zoning requirements. The planning board has other factors within its purview, as does the ARB. What was included in your packet was the section of the state law that applies. With subdivisions, it's pretty much regulated by New York state law, with the exception of a few provisions in the city code. But section 33 of the general city law, paragraph 5, it's in your packet, and portions are highlighted for your convenience. But it mentions that density is indeed one of those factors to be considered by the planning board. It reads, character of the development. In making such determination regarding streets, highways, parks, and required improvements, the planning board shall take into consideration the prospective character of the development, whether dense residence, open residence, business, or industrial. So subdividing one lot into 4 parcels for the construction of homes would be considered dense residence. So planning board does have the authority to take it into account, understanding that we're balancing many other factors, traffic circulation, pedestrian circulation, drainage, stormwater, density, things like that. So if it's a factor that's of concern, and this language is mandatory, it says shall take into consideration. So you're acting within your purview, and it's up to you to balance what you feel is in the best interest of the public and the applicant.
Thank you.
Chairman, there seems to be substantial concerns around parking. And of course, with the influx of these homes that will be built, the concern also is about residents who will add additional impact on those who are already in existence. So I think we should definitely take those concerns in consideration. And thank you, council, for sharing and making clarification.
Okay, thank you, both of you. Thank you. Anything else that anybody would like to add or have any questions? Otherwise, we'll just listen to what the applicant has to say tomorrow.
Chairman, tomorrow we will not make a final decision on this particular application, correct?
If there's a motion to close, the meeting. So, I mean, I don't know.
Okay,
I guess we won't know until, we're there and see how
Okay.
things go in terms of whether or not, members of the planning board feel that, it should be closed and they're ready to make a determination.
okay,
But, right now, I mean, don't know.
okay. Thank you.
Mhm. All right, and if we could move to the next item on the agenda, please.
Oh, Chair Salsi, I forgot that the fire department came with comments about 165 Summit just today.
Okay, do you have those comments?
I do. I mean, it was just that if the houses are 3 stories or taller, they would need to have sprinkler systems inside.
Okay, thank you.
That's it.
Thank you. Okay, so the next item, and this is new. This is 420 North Terrace Avenue. Can you fill us in on this?
Sure. So this property was actually, this application was actually previously extensively reviewed by the ZBA, like for most of last year, actually. It was there was an earlier version of it that was going to be a 4-story, 16-unit multifamily apartment building, which through the ZBA's review got reduced to being a 3-story, 12-unit multifamily apartment building. The ZBA did seek a review and declared a negative declaration at the November meeting. The big thing that there was one like major point that the ZBA wanted to just bring up to the planning board in their review, which was there was this in the application's parking layout, there is one spot that is designated as like a compact car spot. This was just something they kind of got stuck on in their review, and they just asked the board to take like an extra look at that in their parking plan. But our attitude on that was kind of that compact cars spots designated specifically for compact cars and parking are a thing that I've seen exist elsewhere. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's interesting to see.
let me see if I can pull up the plans. That probably
Okay.
they're in the documents right here.
Okay. In terms of the variances that have been discussed there,
You'll
were
be
there
able to
any
see.
variances regarding parking?
Yes, because they were like in the required in the multifamily zone. It was required in the RMF 10 zone. It was required that they have 2 per dwelling unit for 24. They requested 12. The reason they requested 12 is just because, like, with the lot space they were actually working with, they couldn't really fit more than 12 because it's like they were proposing the variances were pretty substantial, and they were proposing it on a very tight lot, so they were kind of. And then like you can see, these are the 12 parking spaces. This is the compact space, like in the top left-hand corner, right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was originally proposed to actually be across like all 3 lots that you see on the plans here, but
Mhm.
they ended up, just through the course of the ZBA's review and their suggestions, they ended up scaling it down to 1.
Okay.
Kind of reining the project in, so the substantial variances were at least taking up like kind of a smaller portion of land, I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. And all city agencies, interested parties, has everybody weighed in regards to this application? Do we have communication from fire, public safety?
Uh,
Water?
Trying to remember that were.
Will, they might have come in a while ago.
Yes, we
Yes.
did have.
Oh, yeah, the
We did
fire
have-
department, yeah, the fire department submitted plans like way back at the beginning of the review. Basically, like, at the time, it didn't have a parking plan and then they requested one, so that was already responded to.
So Will, when you say compact, you talking about small cars?
Yeah,
And
like,
how many?
there's only one spot that's a compact space, it's,
Okay.
you can see my, I don't know, yeah. It's
Right.
spot
Space,
number,
space number one.
yeah,
So
and,
space number one.
but
Okay.
that's like for like a regular sedan, it's just like, you couldn't park a truck in that space, kind of thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Has there been any communication from any letters from the residents in the immediate area?
Oh, we got a hand-delivered objection letter 2 days ago.
Okay.
That's the only one.
Okay. Thank you. And everything's been noticed properly? Okay.
I believe so.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we will listen to what the applicant and their design professionals have to say tomorrow. Before that, anything in particular that that staff had any questions or wanted us to kind of focus in on at all?
But any questions we would have had were like during the ZBA review. Kind
Okay.
Of. So like where we're at now, we're just kind of like waiting to see what goes next.
Okay.
This
Fair
has
enough.
been extensively reviewed.
Yeah. It went through several different iterations with the ZBA. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Very good. Okay.
that's it.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. So thank you. And I know that we do have a quorum for tomorrow. And I think that we probably have a couple of people that are going to log in via Zoom as well. So I won't keep anybody any longer. When you have a chance, what time do you think that the January minutes will be ready tomorrow?
I hope in the afternoon, early afternoon.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, in the event that we run into any issue and we're not able to, review them, then
Okay.
we can table them.
No, and I'll let you know.
Okay.
Also,
enough.
I'm sorry. I'll go next.
I was gonna ask Lucas if he wanted to touch on 537 South 6th.
Oh, right. So that is when you vote on the final approval, there's a note that it must go before the Zoning Board of Appeals for a variance. This was something that we had originally thought that could be reviewable administratively by staff, and that because the variance is just one small variance, it's a de minimis variance. We thought that it could be reviewed by staff and not be referred to the Zoning Board of Appeals. But it looks like after review of the law that it does in fact need to go to the Zoning Board of Appeals, and they can then grant the de minimis variance.
Okay. So do we have to do a revised resolution subject to approval from zoning? Or can we?
Nkechi already put it in there.
Perfect. Okay.
And we explained to the applicant that they should get on the next agenda for the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Okay.
And also, just a heads up, just as like a housekeeping thing, there's going to be an event tomorrow at City Hall at the same time as your meeting. So that might impact parking and noise during the meeting.
Okay. So where are we going to be meeting tomorrow then?
City council chambers.
In the council chambers?
Mhm.
Okay.
That's probably the best possible location, given that they're going to be having, I think, a performance in the rotunda at 6:30.
Okay,
Okay.
good. Yes, I would agree.
So I
Alright.
think it's the best odds of quiet, but just be aware that the parking might be tight. Because
Okay.
that starts at
Try
5.
to get there a little bit earlier just so that can procure parking spot.
Yeah, if you want one of the spots in the back, yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah, those might go
Okay.
fast.
Okay.
Chairman, are we approving both minutes, December and January, or
Well,
did we approve December already?
we have to get the January one, the January minutes, which we'll get tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So if we have time enough to review them, then possibly we can
Do both.
do both. Right.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. How you feeling?
Feeling great.
Yeah, good.
Ready to party.
All right.
Thank
Can
you
I
for
make-
asking. Mm-hmm.
One more comment regarding 537 South 6th. There are a number of standard conditions that we usually include in subdivision applications in terms of filing the plat and things like that. So those have been added. There were 2 conditions that I wanted to get the board's take on, whether you would like them included or not. One was in conjunction with any new curb cuts, applicant shall install new sidewalks along the property. Is that something that you want to include? Maybe the sidewalks are in good condition, or let me know. And the other is applicant shall conduct curb to curb street repair following pipe installations. So they are highlighted in the draft resolution. So you can just take a look and see whether you'd like to keep those in or take them out.
I'm comfortable keeping them in if everyone else is.
I believe we should keep them in.
Yeah, I believe we should keep them in.
I agree.
Anything to enhance our community is going to be an improvement, so it should be kept in.
Okay,
Okay.
duly noted. Thank you.
All right. And Commissioner Trolio, we can make sure that we have the granite curb cuts too.
It's in there.
All right. All right. Well, again, thank you, everyone. I appreciate your time. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Night.
Good night.
All right.